Hi, this is Crissy from Crissy Crochet. For today's project, we are going to continue what we learned in the country coaster video, and we're going to finish our coaster with a little different border. And this is what your border will look like in this version. We will need our hooked ribbon XL like we used in the country coaster video. We will still need the same size hook, the 10mm. Also, of course, a pair of scissors and a tapestry needle. Let's get started. We are going to start this project by crocheting the first 5 rows of the country coaster video. I have taken that section and put in this video in case you have not seen how to do these 5 rows. So follow along with me and we'll get our rows done and then learn how to make the new border. So we're going to make a magic circle first. I have my yarn laid across my fingers. I'm going to make an X. I'm going to turn. I'm going to pick up this first strand, pick up the back one, twist, and come up on the upper side and pick up the other side of it and pull through. And that's going to make your magic circle. Okay, tighten it up a little bit, straighten it up a little bit, and we are going to put 6 single crochets in this circle. So to make a single crochet, go into your loop and you're going to yarn over, pull up the yarn. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both. And you need to do this loosely. All right, let's do another one. Go into the magic circle, yarn over, come up, yarn over, pull through both loops. All right, then we're going to do another one. Go into the ring, yarn over, bring your loop up, pull through. All right, we're going to do 3 more. And now we should have 6. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 single crochets. Tighten by pulling the tail of your yarn. Okay, and now we're going to have to fasten this side, of course, to finish making the circle. And what we're going to do is make this loop a little bit bigger. We're going to come over to this side, and from the back side, I'm going to go under the top 2 loops in my single crochet. I'm going to take the loop, put it over my hook, and then I'm just going to pull that through like that. Okay. Now, we're going to start doing knit stitches or waistcoat stitches. In my basket video, I call them V stitches, but actually there is another stitch that's also known as the V stitch. So to me, this is kind of a basket V stitch, but technically it's called the knit or the waistcoat stitch. You're going to go between where these 2 stitches come together, and if you'll push a little bit from the back, you'll see that you've got your V there and it opens up. And what you're going to do is put your needle right through here. Just take and push right through, And this first row, it's a little bit harder because the stitches are tighter and it'll get looser as you go. Once you do that, put your working yarn over between the loop and your hook. Then take your loop and you're going to pull it through like that. All right, now you're going to chain one there, and that'll finish that stitch. We are going to put 2 of the knit stitches in each of the spaces around. So we're going to put a second one right here in the same place as the first one. Okay, so that's our second one. Then we're going to go over here, and you're going to go into this next space, and you just go between where the V, it's like there's 2 legs there. Go through and pull your yarn through, yarn over and pull through. All right, then do the second one in that place. All right, now we have 4 so far. So let's just keep going. Okay, I'm on my last one, so I'll put 2 in this very last space. Okay, there's 1 and 2. Okay, and then we are going to do a basic invisible join. So all we have to do, we'll leave this loop a little bit longer. We're going to come like we did a while ago. We're going to go over to this side, go from the back to the front, picking up the 2 loops, the top 2 loops. Take your loop and pull through. All right, now if we count our stitches, we should have 12. So I'm going to start with this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And where we made that one across made our 12th one. Okay, so that is the second row. Now we're going to do the third row. In the third row, we are going to put 1 knit stitch between those 2 stitches. And in the next one, we're going to put 2. Then we're going to put 1, and then we're going to put 2. And we're going to do that all the way around. Okay? So you're doing every other one. So start with the first one, and if you'll look closely, where this loop comes out, there is, if you go just a little bit to the left, is where those 2 join, and that's where we go through. So we're going to put 1 here. So, and make sure that this yarn is between your hook and your loop. Okay, then pull that one through, chain 1. All right, then we're going to go to the next one, and we're going to do 2 here. 1, then 2. The next one, 1. The next one, 2. And then right on around using that pattern. 1 and then 2. Now we're back around, and we need to put 2 in this last space. So let's go right in there. And we're going to put 2. Okay, now that will end row 3. All right, so we're going to pull our yarn up a little bit. Again, go over here, Go underneath those 2 top stitches from back to front. Take your loop, put it over your hook, pull it up. Okay, and then if you've got a hole in the middle there, you can tighten that up some more if you need to make that not have as much opening. All right, so that's our 3rd row. Now our 4th row, you're going to do 1, 1, 2. Okay, and that's the pattern. So again, go through this first one and to get started. Go right through the middle, pull your yarn over, pull your loop over your hook, pull through, chain 1. All right, in this next one, put 1. Now do 2. And I'll meet you back where we join. Okay, we're back around and we're ending row 4. So we have one more place here to put 2 stitches, 2 knit stitches. There's 1 and 2. And if you've noticed, if you'll start out with the pattern each time, we end up with our 2 at the end. All right, and I'm going to pull that loop out. We're going to take our hook, go from back to front, picking up the 2 loops, going through with this one and pulling up. Okay, so now if you want to, let's count around this. If you like to count all the stitches, we'll see how many we have here, which I will put in the video. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and then that one right there is 24, and that would be correct. On the last row, we should have had 18. And if you'll remember, on the row before that, we had 12. So that's correct. And if you don't come out with the 2 that goes into the 1 space, then you know that you have something a little bit wrong in your circle. All right, now we're going to do the 5th row. This project is basically, it's 6 rows, and then we're going to do some slip stitching. But this will be the last row of the knit stitches. All right, let's go through. And again, just always keep that, when you pull this back through, the loop back through, make sure that you keep that working yarn between the hook and the loop. Pull up and then chain 1 to finish that one. So this one is row 5. So it's the pattern's 1, 1, 1, and then 2 together. Well, if you'll notice after we got started, if you add up 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2, that's 5. And look, we're starting row 5. So this was 1 row, 2, 3, 4. This will make the 5th row. So your pattern total numbers will add up to the row that you're on. And you always end the pattern with 2 together. And then the next row, you're going to add 1 more single one, ending up with the 2. So if you were doing row 6, it's going to be 1, 1, 1, 1, and then 2. And of course, those numbers add up to be 6. So that helps you to keep up with it. So if I forget where I'm at, I count my rows, and then I know that everything's going to be 1 in each place except the last one, which will be 2, and it will add up to the row number that I'm on. So since this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, again, it's going to be 1. We did 1. Let's do a second one. There's 2, and then there's the 3rd, and then 2 and 1. The last one's always going to be 2 in the last one. Now, let me mention this too, just for your information. I kind of like to understand why the crocheting works the way that it does. And when you do your increases to keep this flat, you're not going to put 2 on top of where you've already put 2. So as we started this, we have 1, 2, 3. Okay, well, there's just one single one there that we're going to put 2 in. Okay, so and then we'll go on over. But you don't want for your doubles to be on top of where you've already got a double. That will change the circle into a different shape. So we have 3 there, and then we're going to put 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to do the 3 again. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and you know, showing you what I was talking about. All right, see right there, that's a single one. So we're going to put 2 in there for the final one for the pattern. So we'll do the 2. Okay, you can continue going on around until we get ready to fasten this together and do the same pattern, 1, 1, 1, and then 2. Here at the end of row 5, we're ready to put the 2 stitches in that last space. So there's 1 and 2. And that will get all of our stitches for row 5. And we're going to do the same method. Go over to the left, pick up those 2 loops. And right here, there's one that curves, so never get that one. Always get the one on top, because this one makes that last stitch when you close it right here. Okay, so there is 5 rows. We're ready to learn how to do the new border after doing your 5 rows. For row 6, we are going to be single crocheting, and we're wanting to continue our increase pattern so that our coaster will lay flat. So our pattern's going to be 1, 1, 1, 1, and then 2. To get started on the row, we've pulled the loop up, and we want to go through the top 2 loops, first of all. Then go on down through the little smaller loop below the back loop, the little hump part. Go through there, pull your yarn up, and then your loop over and pull your loop through. All right, then chain 1, and that will be the first one. So the next one, we're just going to go through the top 2 loops. All right, from here on out, just the 2 top loops. Come underneath, pull, do your yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through your 2 stitches. The next one, as I said, just the top 2 loops. Go underneath them, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through both loops. Okay, now that's 1, 2, 3. We're going to do another one, and that made 4. And the last one will be 2 single crochets together. So in this stitch, we'll do 1, 2, and that will keep our coaster flat. All right, let's do that pattern again. Okay, we're going to do 1, then 1, then the next stitch 1, and in the next stitch 1. And that made 4 single ones, and we're going to put 2 in this next one. All right, 1, 2. And remember, that adds up to be 6. If you'll add the 4 single ones and the 2 you put together, that is 6, and that's also the row number that you're on. So the last 2 is always together. All right, so I'll lay this down so that you can see what this looks like. Okay, now you continue and come back to here to where you join, and I'll meet you back. I'm back around and ready to put the last 2 single crochets. So we'll go under here and we'll put those last 2 in. Okay, and that's what it's going to look like there. Now, we want to put a slip stitch around our coaster, and then we're going to come back in and we're going to slip stitch in this little open area here. Now, if you like that effect and you don't want to add the extra row in there, this looks pretty too. So what I'm going to do, so that I do not have to cut my yarn, I'm going to go around this coaster. We need probably about 8 times. So there's 1, and we'll just loop this around. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to cut the yarn. Okay, and I'm going to pull all that yarn through, and we're going to make the invisible join. So let's pull this all the way through. And of course, you can make this coaster as large as you want to and make it into a pot holder if you want to do more rows. I thought this would be a good size to learn how to do this. To do the invisible join, we're recreating this stitch right here. So we're going to go from back to front under the top 2 loops, and we're going to take our yarn and we're going to pull it through. Okay, and then just pull all that yarn through. Okay, then, okay, if we look, it should go back down into this one right here, okay, to make the loop. So what we're going to do is we're going to go at the back. We're going to go under that little hump right there and up through our stitch on top. And we're going to just pull that yarn through there. Okay. So just pull that through. Okay. And that's what it'll look like. And there you'll have your stitch, and you really won't be able to tell where you started or ended. Okay, after we get row 6 joined, then I think it's going to work the best to go ahead and do a slip stitch around the outer border next. So all we have to do is, you don't want to use the slip stitch that you just made to start it. So go back 1 and put your hook underneath the 2 loops, the 2 top loops, and pull your yarn through. Okay, and there you have your loop there. And then we're just going to keep going. We're going to go into the next one, which would be right here. We're going to pull through, then pull through again, go under these two, yarn over, pull through again. Now this time we are slip stitching. So you're not doing a single crochet. We're just making a little edge there. We just keep going all the way around. And if you need to, you can always put a stitch marker in your first stitch if that helps you until you get used to doing this, or even if you want to all the time so that you know where you started. All right, so let's go on around, slip stitching, and I'll meet you back when you get back over to where we started. When you get back around, you're going to still have this stitch here to do. So what we're going to do is create that stitch, and it's on the side instead of right on the top. So we're going to make a loop to go underneath this one and come back. So we're going to go ahead and pull our thread, our yarn through. Okay, like that. And then we're just going to, go down into this back of this one. And this one I'm just going to use the needle to do. And like I said, you can use whichever you prefer. You just need to pull that through. Okay, and see how that makes the back part of it. And then we're going to pull this around, and then this needs to go back into that loop, because if you'll notice, the loops go underneath each time. So there's the one that goes underneath, and then it'll go back into here. So what I'm going to do just from the back, I'm going to put my needle, and like I said, you can use the crochet hook also. Either way, and then just pull this through to make that other stitch. Okay, and that's what it looks like. Okay, you have done your border and you have it joined, and we're going to put a slip stitch in each of these little holes in between these stitches. Okay, so you can see, and I'm going to start right there where my yarn is. If I look on the back, that's the closest one, and so I'm going to just pull that up like that, and then I'm going to go over to this next little space. I'm going to go down in there. I'm going to pick up my yarn, pull it up, and then just pull it through to do a slip stitch. Let's do another one. You have your loop, go into the next space, right there, go in, yarn over and pull up a loop. Okay, once you get it to there, just pull it straight on through. That's slip stitching. All right, then we're going to do the next one. Go in, pull it up, pull it through, like that. Okay, and you just keep going. Into the next one, pull up a loop, pull it through. Into the next one, just keep doing the same thing. You just go in each hole. Now, and it doesn't matter, like this hole has both stitches in it, but we don't worry about that. We just go in each space and pull it up and pull it through like that. And I'll meet you back when we get when I get over to where we need to fasten this in where we started. I'm back around, and I lack one stitch right here, which we are going to create by pulling the tail of our yarn through, and I'm going to use the needle, and it's going to go right under this stitch, this very first stitch. So I'm going to go ahead from front to back. I'm going to stick the needle through, and I'm going to pull the yarn through. Okay, and then we're going to put it back down in to this stitch here to finish it. And we can just go all the way to the back. Okay, and go through. And you have made that last stitch so that you can't tell where you ended up. Okay, now I'm going to turn it over, and we're going to need to work this in, and you can just, since this is the same color, you can go wherever you need to work in the end. Okay, and just make sure before you leave the front that that looks okay where you finished up. All right, and then just go through, and actually I find it a little bit easier just to back up. You know, start over here somewhere, come back to where your yarn's at with this type yarn. We'll thread that back. Like that. Okay. And actually, the way we measured, we probably had about one time around our coaster more than we needed. I estimated 8. We could have probably gotten by with 7 or 7.5. And of course, you can always cut your yarn if you don't want to, you know, chance wasting a little bit. You can go ahead and cut it and then fasten back in to do this. Okay, and then if you haven't worked in the tail of the center, go ahead and do that. Okay, and that's what your pretty coaster looks like. And it's about 6 inches across. So this is all the same color. So next, I'm going to show you how to create a hot pad using this same pattern, except making it larger and putting a different color as the border. I have taken our coaster and made it into a hot pad by making it larger. This one is about 8.5 inches across. I have 8 rows to here of the knit or waistcoat stitches, and then I have the single crochets around it with the slip stitch border. So this time we're going to take a contrasting color, and I thought the cream would look nice with the red, and we are going to go into these little holes between our stitches, and you can see them right here, just in between. And it doesn't matter where you start, just put your crochet hook there, pull up a loop like that, and this is going to just remain loose back there until we get this done, and then fasten it in better. Okay, so as long as it will hold, you can hold it enough to where it should stay. All right, and if you'll be real careful, you can just go into the next one. You pull up a loop, and then you pull it through this one. And of course, this can just be tightened back there for now. All right, and then we just go into the next one. Just go down in the hole, pick up a loop, and then just keep pulling it all the way through to do a slip stitch. And that's going to make this pattern to go around this. Okay. If it gets twisted, you can kind of keep it as straight as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. All right, go into the next place, pull up a stitch, and then just pull through. Next one, same thing. You just pull up your yarn and pull it on through. So you're doing a slip stitch around it in a little different manner than the way we do the outside one. All right, and then you just go down in each hole, pull up and pull on through. Okay, and then we just keep going. Okay, like that. And I'll meet you back to where we started. Just keep doing your slip stitches around it. I'm going to leave this one stitch to be done by making it. I think will work the best. So we'll thread our needle after we've cut our yarn, and we're just going to go around the back of the first stitch and bring the loop part underneath. And I know that's still loose behind, but we'll fix that. We'll just kind of keep that tugged in. And then we'll go down back into the middle of this one. And we're creating that stitch. I'm going to turn, that's got twisted a little bit. And this yarn, sometimes it is twisted, and I try to keep it untwisted as best I can. All right, and then we're going to go right down through the middle of that one there to the back. Okay, and see if we look there, that makes our stitch to where it looks nice. This one looks a little bit smaller. Let me pull at this one just a little bit and tighten this up just a little bit back here. All right, we're going to turn this over, and you see on the back, this is where that started, that tail. And what I'm going to do is take these two, and I'm going to tie them so that it will not come loose. Now, I want to be snug, but I don't want to pull this side out of place. So you just kind of put you a pretty good little snug tie. Just do a knot. Okay, like that. Okay. And then on the back, we can just weave the tail underneath back and forth these loops. Now, if you're using all the same color yarn, you can go anywhere you want to, but since this is a different color, it would be better to keep it worked in underneath those. So you just can weave back and forth, and since you've got a knot there, it should stay put anyway. So other than getting rid of the tail. And of course, this is the back side. And I use that backward method with my needle. This yarn, most yarn, you're wanting to actually go through the fibers of the yarn, but you can't go through this type with another strand of it. So you have to go around it instead of through it. But if you were using worsted weight, you would just go through it. Okay, so work each of these in, and then you can work this side in too. Okay, so once you get finished, this is what your hot pad is going to look like, or your great big coaster. And the back side, you just weaved in those edges so it still looks real neat. And then you turn it back over, and you've just got a little different effect there. I hope you enjoyed working on this project with me today. If you liked the coaster, please click like and subscribe to my channel. See you next time. Bye for now.